So I recently tried to recreate Katelyn's everyday makeup look with like no knowledge of makeup. That was the first time I've ever done any makeup.
And you'll have to go watch that video to see how he did.
I think I did pretty good.
But because you guys often do ask how I do my usual like cat eye look, I thought it'd be fun to actually show you. And then you can see, how you did.
I want to know like mainly like what did I miss and what did I do out of order and like what did I like just luck my way into. So what do you start with?
So I start with a translucent powder to put on my eyes because I'm greasy. It's mostly because I put on sunscreen beforehand.
Which I should probably start doing too. I mean, is that the main key to immortality of skin?
Yes, the key to immortality is sunscreen. So this is just like a translucent powder. It doesn't add any color. It just like soaks up any oils. Because if you try to put eye makeup on like oily skin, it'll go on, but it'll slide off.
But even like powdery makeup? Because what's the difference between this powder and other powdered makeup?
You know, I cannot tell you that. I am not a beauty guru, okay? But I just know that it helps it stick on. It's all about the layers. So the next thing, for the same purpose, is an eye primer.
Is that kind of like paint primer? Because it like primer like prepares a surface.
I'm preparing my surface.
For the application of color. And then it kind of prepares the canvas.
This isn't really like for color purposes, at least not the one that I get, because it again is just translucent.
Yeah.
But it helps things from not sliding off.
Sliding off. Well, if you use the same brush for each color or color type, it doesn't really matter if you clean them in between, right?
That's why I have so many brushes. So
you have a brush for each genre of color?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, like typically what I'll do next is start the rest of my eyes leading up to my eyeliner. And then I go on to the next
So I didn't
things.
use that color at all, but it seems like it's similar to one of the ones I did use from here, right?
It is similar, and I have used that one as well, the light gold. Basically, I take like a light shimmery one, and it was interesting because you didn't do any light colors.
I was also trying to go for like an everyday look.
This is my everyday look.
So you go pretty high.
All of this is covered eventually.
Wow, that's really interesting.
So,
I didn't go up to your eyebrow at all. Like,
so
I didn't even approach it.
I basically use like a light shimmery one as a kind of a highlighter, so I do it on the lid, basically the full lid, and right under my eyebrow. So then what I do is I get a fluffy brush and one of any of my browns. I'm gonna use, I'll use the same one you went for, this kind of like shimmery taupey color.
Yeah.
And I get a little bit on the fluffy and I just like very loosely do it in the crease. One reason I like doing the shimmer is there's like more contrast between the dark and the light.
And it still has the makeup look, you know.
Yeah, it's like weird if like my lids were bare.
Yeah, because like it has the same like glittery,
same like texture
and stuff. Yeah, that's interesting that you go like way far out.
I go pretty far out, and the reason for that is because when I open my eyes, anything on my lids is hidden. So like I take it pretty far out, and I try to like use the fluffy brush to kind of fade it outwards and upwards a little bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do a little touch up with the highlighty one. And then I'll take a tiny brush and I'll use that same color, just like on the outer part of the underneath.
Okay, so I did add some to the underneath.
You did? Well, you added
all the way around.
Black line under my entire eye. The funny thing was, like, you looked at a photo of me right before for reference and you're like, yep, there's definitely a full black line.
I was panicking. I barely looked at your photos. I was like, yeah. The brush.
So next, and this is another thing you missed, just because you didn't do any light, is I do a bright inner corner. This is even brighter than the shade I do on my lids. This is like the brightest shade that I have.
Oh,
and
right
I do
there.
it right on the inside.
I see.
To like highlight.
I recognize it now. Now that you
Now that
do
I'm doing it.
I'm like, oh yeah. I totally see that.
Yeah, because it just kind of helps to like, I don't know, brighten it. Hi. We're Evan and Katelyn, and like you, we sweat.
It happens when we get nervous.
When we're hot.
Or during everyday physical activity.
Luckily, today's sponsor is Native, and their deodorant keeps us feeling fresh.
Native's deodorant comes in plastic-free, recyclable packaging, and they source the paper for their packaging from responsibly managed forests.
But what's the catch?
Catch a whiff of this.
Eucalyptus and mint?
Yeah, it'll smell great all day thanks to Native's 72-hour odor protection.
Plus, it's aluminum-free, paraben-free, vegan, and cruelty-free.
Right now, you can try Native's Cabin collection with cozy fall scents like warm cider and cinnamon.
Normally, 3 plastic-free deodorants would be $39, but if you use our link and code ENK, you can get them for $26, which is over 33% off.
With our code, you can also get 20% off any body wash or toothpaste.
What do I do next? Eyeliner. And because you use the old crusty,
yeah,
I will also use the old crusty.
Yeah.
Just so that
Are you excited to open up the new one soon?
So excited. It might be hard for me to talk while I'm doing this because I use my face to brace my hand on, but I just do like a upwards line.
From the corner.
From the corner, a little bit outside my corner really.
Oh yeah, And yeah, the main thing that I struggled with is like knowing what angle I should do that.
Typically, I try to make it parallel to like, see how my eye curves up?
Yeah.
That outermost part of the curve,
there, yeah.
I kind of continue it, but with a straight line, not a curve. And so this, I'll kind of like try to show you guys what I'm doing. Basically, I have semi-hooded lids, and so if I just closed my eyes and drew a wing, I'd open it and it would look bad. So what I basically do is I kind of get like the outline, looking at my eyes open, and I figure out where I want it to connect. Sorry. This is the hardest part, it's hard to talk. And then I'll use that as like my guide. And it looks crazy, you know, when you just have it like this, but it all will work. I used to take the line all the way in. I try to kind of taper it now just so there's more lid that's still visible, because otherwise the whole lid is just the eyeliner. And I'll do the little bat wing thing where you kind of like take it to a point as well. And then, because that can look kind of funky, like when your eyes are closed, I take some shadow, some black shadow, and I just kind of like fade it. So you did kind of do that.
I did very similar to that.
Yeah.
Very similar. I was super
impressed. Yeah, so I kind of just put some black shadow in that little like pocket. Then I take a fluffy brush.
And blend it out.
And blend it.
Wow.
Yeah. So now like it doesn't look so super crazy. Sometimes at this point, I'll add like a little bit more of a dark shadow with a less fluffy brush, so it's a little bit more packed on. So I'm gonna use the same one I did in the crease and just kind of like do it just on the outside, kind of near where I have the black shadow, just to add like a little more depth.
Interesting.
It
so
just
it's kind
like
of like almost
concentrates
furthering the blend a little bit. And
yeah.
It kind of helps with the
kind of like
gradient.
Yeah, kind of furthers the blend.
Yeah.
So I usually like kind of brush through my brows, get all the hairs in line. Of course, my brows are different shapes. This is the good one. This is the bad one.
What?
So I use a cream brow liner with this little skinny brush.
What's the difference between dip brow and slim brow pencil?
One's a pencil, one's a cream. And I like doing fine lines with creams rather than pencils.
Yeah,
you know, I feel like I can get a better line with a brush.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I kind of like outline what I want.
That's so interesting. I see how this could be better.
And try to really not overfill. I only add product where like it is a little light, and then I outline the bottom of it, and then I just do like a few strokes from that line upwards.
So you don't do much in the middle. You just do the end.
I don't do any in the middle because the middle's thick.
You do the start and end. I did a lot in the middle.
You did. I realized when I was like removing it later, I was like, wow, it is embedded. And then I kind of use the spoolie to like blend the lines.
Okay, yeah. I did some of that
pretty minimal.
This.
Yeah, you did. You did do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like scratch it a bit more than you because like you're trying not to hurt my face.
You, yeah.
I will admit there have been times where I was tempted to do the thing where I do shave off the tail of my brow. That way I can do different shapes with the tail. Because I kind of wish mine like didn't go down so much. I kind of wish they were like out farther.
I like your eyebrow look. I like your face.
I mean, I'm fine with my eyebrows. Like I'm grateful to have eyebrows. You know what I'm
saying?
You
just get bored with things sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes I just want to like mix things up. Yep. So I do. Not too much, because again,
not too much, yeah.
My brows are already kind of intense looking. So yeah, there you go. I'm gonna not do the mascara till the end because I want my cream liner to really be solidified, so I'm gonna move on to my highlighter. So you didn't use this at all. I think you used eyeshadow for my highlighter.
Okay, yeah. I might have used this. What's this? This is blush.
That's highlighter.
Highlighter.
It's not blush. You tried to use this as blush, but it's clearly not the color of blush.
Oh, I used this.
Eventually, you got there.
I eventually used this.
After examining every other product and trying eyeshadow as blush, you got there. But so what I do is highlighter,
wow.
liquid highlighter. I kind of like dot it upwards. So I just get like a little splash of water on a blender. I didn't know that this would work, but I always heard of people like getting it damp.
Yeah.
But it does help it blend more. And I go like this. I used to try doing this with my fingers. Did not work. But I need I need a strong highlighter because I am pale.
It's interesting because I didn't do any highlighter there.
Nope.
I did blush, I didn't do highlighter.
Yeah, you didn't do any highlighter. You did highlighter on my nose.
That's interesting.
But yeah, highlighter is very hard for me to find one that it will actually show up, and I have to do it like kind of a lot.
It's kind of like slightly metallic.
Yeah, to like catch the light.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why they're often shimmery. So
Yeah.
I do that, and then I do the blush. I go a little heavy on blush too, just because I think it's cute.
So eventually I did choose the right brush, the blush that you actually use.
The blush? Yeah, you did. Well, I only have one blush in this entire thing, so I've gone through different phases of like where I like to put my blush, but right now I'm kind of doing it like
Right
pretty
underneath.
high on the cheekbone,
Interesting.
towards very far on the outside,
Wow. I did it way like
You did it, like,
I did
right
it
here.
right on your dimples.
like right on my apples.
Yeah, right on your apples.
Fluffier?
Yeah, you go way farther back with your blush
I go like
than I
into
did.
my hair. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't do that.
And then I get just like the very tip of my brush and I do some on my nose. Go over it with the fluffy brush so I don't have any harsh lines. Then I usually add more. And then I do my nose highlight, which is what I use this one for, that I dropped.
Oh no!
So I use this as my nose highlighter and I do a little dot.
A little highlight.
And then I do a little line. And then I get my highlighter brush and I blend it.
Ah.
And the last thing is mascara. And I use a waterproof mascara because even though it's more of a pain to get off, it is the only thing that will keep my eyelashes up. Otherwise, they just tend to fall.
Oh, so you do the torture device first.
Yeah, some people do the torture device after. I found that just like sticks to the mascara and pulls your lashes like crazy.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I do it first. Now this one I have to not talk.
Yeah. I just like, this is the part where like because like at the end there's so much more than in the middle.
Oh, on the wand?
On the wand. Okay, so you just don't touch the part where there's a ton.
I guess not, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because there's this big wad at the end, and you're just avoiding the end touching anything. Is this loaded? Oh my gosh, the end. I'm just gonna go like this.
That pains me.
That's interesting. I saw it touch, and then like it made one of your eyelashes get like
Real
way
thick?
thicker. So I was looking at the monitor, and your eyes get like so big when you're doing it.
Well, I
mean,
have to open them.
You have to. It just looks funny, and I laughed. It's not bad. It's just.
How rude.
I'm
concentrating, sorry.
You look like you're very surprised.
I'm concentrating. Dang it, because if I don't, this happens. I can't apply it in this way.
Okay.
You shush. I'm gonna ignore you. Typically, I don't put any on the bottom, any mascara, because my lashes tend to get tangled. Sometimes I'll do them just in the middle, so I'll do that for you guys.
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah, because if I get it on the outside,
Yeah.
it
Then it tangles with the upper.
it tangles with the uppers. But yeah, that's it. I don't put anything on my lips except for chapstick, so this is basically the look. What do you guys
Awesome.
think? What do you think? Was it more complicated, less complicated?
Less complicated.
than you thought?
Now that I've seen it, I could probably do it a lot better.
Oh, definitely.
But that'd be boring. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try something new.
Yeah, you're gonna give me glam? Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I really enjoyed this, and thanks for sharing, Katelyn.
Thank you.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.